shit!
There he is! He's running for it! Get him!
Hey!
Freeze! Don't move!
He's over there! Stop! You're under arrest!
Stop! Hey, yo!
There he is!
He's running for it!
Freeze!
Oh, shit!
Give up!
Hey! Move! Get out of the way!
Watch it! Freeze! He's over there!
Are you shitting me? All right, come on, let's go.
Hello and welcome to another video, and today is a special review of the new EA original game A Way Out, which is done by Hazelight Studios and the infamous Joseph Fares. You might know him as the the Oscars guy from the most recent Game Awards that we just had last December. He's very passionate about what he does, and he's passionate about the games he makes, and he's very passionate about the game he made here, which is A Way Out, and I'm happy to come out on the other end of A Way Out and tell you about one of the best cooperative experiences in a video game that I've ever had, and easily one of the best games I've played this year thus far.
So, what's your plan?
Excuse me?
I know what you're up to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on now.
Look, I appreciate what you did back there, but you need to back off.
Hey,
What?
I'm sure you have good reasons to bust out of here, but I need to get out of here too.
Yeah? Not my problem.
Just offering my help here.
Hey, you know what? I don't need your help. I can handle myself.
So what is A Way Out? A Way Out is a cooperative experience from start to finish that you can experience either in split-screen co-op locally or online. However, the one difference here than compared to other games that have done this is that the split screen remains at all times no matter how you play the game. So if you're playing the game online, it's split screen. If you're playing the game locally, it's split screen. You're always going to have that split screen. And this is something that's very unique and different. This hasn't been done before, at least as far as I know. And it works really, really well in this game. So you play as two different characters. Their names are Leo and Vincent. They both have their own personal stories and struggles, and they're both brought to prison in the beginning of this game for different reasons. Leo's obviously already been in prison for a while. Vincent's kind of the new guy in prison. And together they decide that they need to break out after both finding out that they both share a common goal in the person that screwed them over for the reason that they're both in prison right now. It's a very interesting concept for a video game, and it works incredibly well. I don't want to spoil too much about the story of this game because I think in the final moments of this game, it does something unique and special that I was not prepared for or expecting, and it's definitely one of the more interesting things I've seen in a video game in a long time. I debated if I even wanted to put it as spoilers in this review, but I'm not going to talk about this for the sake of I really want people to go out and play this game and experience it. But for right now, this review, I'm going to try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible. And your adventure is off. You both have to escape from prison, and that's how this game begins. It's very interesting, it's fun, it's unique, and it's different. Each character has their own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. Leo's very afraid of heights. Vincent is more of the cool-headed one, but Leo is more of the hot-headed person. And it leads to different situations where you both, as a team, you and your partner playing the game, have to decide together what to do in certain situations. It's very interesting. It's very different. We haven't seen a game like this before, and I applaud EA for having such a shitty year last year. They're doing something right with having their EA Originals brand. They put out Unravel last year that was very successful, and it was kind of an indie darling on top of this EA Originals label. And this year we're getting A Way Out, which is another incredible, fantastic experience. Another really interesting thing to note about this game is that only one person has to purchase the game. You can also have a friend download what's essentially a free trial of the game online, and they can play the game with you as long as one person has purchased it. The only caveat to this is if you're an achievement or trophy person, the person who hasn't purchased the game will not unlock any achievements or trophies. That's a little disappointing, but like, I understand why they made this decision, because they want the other person to pay for the game to get that part of it. Another thing that I'll point out, if you're an achievement or a trophy hunter in this game, the achievements and the trophies in this game, very easy. However, you need to follow a guide because they're all Easter eggs. None of them are attached to just beating the game or playing the story. Every single one of them is an Easter egg in its own right. So if you're the kind of person that hunts for these things in games, I would recommend looking at a guide for it. Otherwise, interact with everything in the world and you'll find this stuff no problem. So it's impossible to review this game without talking a little bit more about the story. The story's really interesting. Obviously, the first half of the game, I'd say actually roughly the first third of the game, involves your two characters breaking out of prison, and there the story kind of unfolds, and the whole point of this is they're trying to get back the person that screwed them both over to land them in prison. It's really interesting, it's really unique. As I said before, both of these characters have their own motivations, their own reasons for ending up where they've ended up in this game, and it's really fascinating. The story and the writing is top-notch in this game. There are issues with the game, there are problems with the game. Some of the controls not as tight as I would have liked them to be. There were a couple times where things were just a little wonky. The gunplay at the end of the game almost reminded me very much of, it kind of, especially the end of this game, it reminded me of Kane and Lynch, but in a good way. The only difference here is that the gunplay, not as tight as I would want in a video game, but again, A Way Out isn't a game about shooting. It's meant to be experienced as a story. One of the best things I saw someone say about A Way Out is that it's very much what Telltale games should be now, and I fully agree with that statement. You know, Telltale games have been pumped out for the last 5 years as these very story and narrative driven experiences, but they don't really have a lot of game going on in them other than pressing buttons for decisions and actions in the game. A Way Out, it feels very much more of a cooperative game experience in a Telltale manner. However, you always feel like you're doing something in the game, and in that way it feels more like a video game than just point and click adventure. So, and that's what the Telltale games kind of gone for a long time. This feels more like a fully developed and realized game. I've noticed some graphical issues with the game. I played the game on the Xbox One X. It is an X-enhanced game. It looks absolutely stunning at times. Other times you can tell that it's not a big budget blockbuster game like a Call of Duty or a Halo or a Destiny or something like this. This is a much smaller based game, but I'm actually really impressed with everything that's going on in this game, all the behind the scenes tech and systems and everything that went into this game. It's actually really impressive when you look and see, like, Hazel Light Studios is a very small development team. This isn't, you know, somebody making the next Call of Duty game where the team's like 300 people deep. This is a very small independent studio that EA published this game for. The only other thing I'll say about the game, without spoiling the end of the game, the ending of the game is really unique and different, and it tries really hard to go for a gut punch. And some people fell for the gut punch, other people didn't fall for the gut punch. I fall in the camp of people that really didn't fall for it. The reason that I have a problem with the end of this game is that there's a twist in it that it doesn't really pay off, and it kind of just doesn't make sense without spoiling. And I really don't want to spoil the end of this game because it is a really interesting and unique experience, especially the end. However, I felt for everything that was done throughout the game, once that twist was fully realized and utilized at the end of the story, I felt that it just kind of collapsed in on itself just a little bit. And part of it too is that, you know, a lot of the decisions you make in the game can play out differently, including the ending. So I'm excited to play through this game a second time with someone else and pick some of the different options to see how far the path steers in the opposite direction if you make different decisions. So that's really interesting. But again, the ending, I felt it was a little weak just because I felt that the gut punch they tried to go for really didn't work for me. So other than that, I have to honestly say A Way Out is one of the best cooperative experiences in a game that I've ever experienced with a friend. And it's awesome, and it's great in 2018 that there are developers out there still making great cooperative experiences. I honestly would tell you this is the best cooperative experience I've had in a video game since Resident Evil 5, and that was almost 10 years ago. I really enjoyed this game. I think it's absolutely worth the price of admission. It runs for about $30 right now at the time of release, so it's not a full price $60 game, and I think it is a very important game. I really have to tip my hat off to Joseph Fares and his team at Hazelight Studios. They made an incredible experience. I've really enjoyed this game through and through. I'm looking forward to playing through it a second time, making different decisions, and I think it is easily one of the best games of 2018 thus far, and we're only in March. I'm going to go ahead and give A Way Out a B+. I think it's an excellent game. It does have some issues. There's some control things here or there. Not everything works. However, most of it works, and when it clicks, it really clicks, and it really soars. Anyways, guys, I hope you check out the game. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and as always, until next time.